All right, hello everybody. We're just letting everyone join in. Excited to have you here. You will notice that we have some do now things to kind of kick us off while we're waiting for everyone to come in. We're excited to talk about Screencastify today and all the things you can do. So check out our dog scale when you have a minute and let us know in the chat. That'll let us know that you're ready to rock and roll. How you're feeling today, what's going on. I know many are just joining us, so we'll give it a few minutes. All right. We have some more people joining in, but while you're here, those of you that are here, let's hear from you. How are you feeling in dog scale today? I'm at about a number 1 and a number 7. It's really cold in New York today.
I'm sitting somewhere in a solid 4, Erica.
Yeah.
Anybody who may be joining us, I am in Chicago. It is a bit chilly. If anybody is in or around the Midwest.
Yeah, I'm not seeing if we have responses. Do you have responses, Sean, on your end? I might not be seeing the right part of the
I
chat.
do have a few coming in, yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm not seeing it on my end. Maybe it's just my view, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Good, good, good. Okay. You're also going to notice that we have a bit.ly, but we're going to get started just because we want to make sure we maximize our time. You will have time to try this out in a few more slides. So it's good to check in with yourself before we get going. And now we are ready to go. We want you to stay in the chat throughout this presentation. We're going to kind of do a demo, show you all the different amazing components of Screencastify, but staying in the chat. Sean's here so he can answer your questions and he's able to really support you. Thank you for those that are saying that what your chat says. That's helpful for me to know. I kind of rely on that engagement because I like it. But I'm happy that you have an avenue with the Q&A to be able to ask questions. The checking in is just really great for checking in with ourselves before we get going, recognizing that if I'm a 5 or a 3, maybe I just need a second before we launch. So stay in that Q&A with questions when you have those what moments. What did you say? What are you talking about? You can feel free to put that in the Q&A. Sean will get back to you as soon as he can. He'll also stop me and he will have me go back and clarify anything that you need. So let's get started. I am very excited today to talk to you about Screencastify and all the new additions and new features. So it's so nice to meet you. I'm Erica Rogan. A little fun fact about me, I'm a beekeeping, chicken owning, maple syrup making, speech language pathologist, and UDL expert, calling you from my hometown in Katona, New York. I don't know everything, but I love exploring. I love problem solving, and I'm a Screencastify super user. I put myself in the totally obsessed category because I love it. And it's something that I'm excited to show you today. You'll notice these really cheesy, or my kids call them cringe, GIFs of myself that I embed, but I like to put that in there to show you that that's just one piece of what you can do with Screencastify to level up and make your presentations or your slides a little bit more engaging, maybe add a little personality to your slides. So we will get into it. But again, anytime that you have that moment of like, what, how do I do this? We can jump in and talk. What I want you to do is experience Screencastify from a student perspective first, because it's so easy to jump into the how-to and to talk about how to create lessons and how to design for students. But without really seeing it from the student perspective, to truly wrap your head around what you can do, I think it's important to try it out first. Some of you on this webinar, on this call, might be familiar with Screencastify, and so this could be a cool refresher. Some of you might not have used this in a very long time. So either way, wherever you're coming from, it's just good to experience this. So what I'm going to do is put the link in the chat for you. If you can see it, I have a bit.ly link up, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to see if I post it. Maybe not. Maybe we could throw it in the Q&A. Let's see. Because sometimes bit.ly links can be kind of funny. I don't know, Sean, do you think that's the best way to do it? Maybe the bit.ly
Just
link.
in case any of the folks have the bit.lys blocked, I can drop it in there if that's helpful.
You can drop it in? Okay, so I'll put it in the chat. Okay. Yeah, we're kind of sharing the Zoom, so thank you. Okay, so that's the first one I want you to try. Just this first bit.ly, it is case sensitive. So you're going to type that in. It's all caps MOVIEFUN, movie fun. And what I want you to try is just click on that link and take a moment to explore what you're noticing. I want you to think about what your experience is like and something that you might not realize that you can do within Screencastify. So I'm just going to start a timer just for 1 minute for you to click the link and check it out. And I'll know we're ready to move on because I'll see some of that engagement on that link. And let's see what we get. All right. So hopefully you had enough time to check that one out. I'm hoping that you were able to see what what the experience was like. And if we were together in the same room, I would be asking you to kind of share in the chat what you noticed or what was different than maybe the last time you used Screencastify. So while we're kind of exploring, I'm looking at some of your responses, and I'm going to show you what that looks like on the teacher end. But I was excited for you to have that experience as someone who might not have known that you can access information in that way. For those of you that are just joining us, we're just exploring the components of Screencastify as a student on that student end. So we had this bit.ly link where you might have entered in the movie fun. And you'll notice we have another link here that's called Super SC. I'm going to throw that link in the chat for you also. So now you should see two different links. One would take you to a recording with a movie where you have to kind of name that tune. And then one is going to take you to what we call Screencastify Submit, where you'll be able to make a recording as a student. So again, I just like you to have this context before we start designing and talking about how to design for students, because if you're like me, you start to play and then you can instantly think about some ways that you might incorporate this in your work. If not, have no fear, we're going to talk about it. But I just want to give that time and space for that context. So again, I'm just going to start my timer just for a minute for you to click on that link or try that bit.ly and experience it on your end. Again, we're going to talk about how to create this for your students and how to look at that data in just a minute. So I'll start that timer again for you to check it out. One link that you have that Sean sent you will take you to that movie quiz, and then one will take you to that submit assignment. Okay. So hopefully you had a moment to check those out. Have no worries if you were not able to or you're on a different device. We're going to check this out together. But I see that we had a few submissions. We had over, let's see, on our movie quiz, we had 100% accuracy on the Guess That Song. So that's exciting. And oh, wait, we missed one with Harry Potter. That's with the Chronicles of Narnia. That's close. Okay, we're going to take a look. It's super exciting. So let's get into it. Let's talk about how I can create these opportunities for my students and what we can do. What I'm going to show you today is an overview. You'll get some slides after this with some of those more direct how-to. So what we'll do today is show you all that you can do with Screencastify, thinking about latest updates, some changes that you might have already noticed in what you've experienced and explored already today. Again, those cringe GIFs I've made within Screencastify, and we'll talk about some everyday use and ways that you can use it. While we're doing that, just start thinking about those routines that you have. A lot of people use Screencastify to record full lessons. And now that schools are running flipped classrooms and project-based learning, some teachers are finding the benefit of continuing to record those full lessons for students, and some are finding other moments and opportunities. So I just want you to think about your own work, your own roles in the district. We all use and work in different ways. So as a speech pathologist, I don't necessarily need to record an entire lesson, but I need to record procedures, daily routines. I like to record homework models and demonstrations for my students, some social experiences and role playing. So we might have different uses and needs, but thinking about how we can use video to make information more engaging and more accessible for our students. So just things to think about and to frame what we're going to do getting into Screencastify. And I want to talk a little bit about how it works. So just so we're all on the same page, we're going to think about a homework assignment. This is a perfect opportunity as a teacher to turn on the extension, whether you're doing your lesson, your homework model on a panel, or whether you want to walk through this beforehand. We're going to talk about how you can easily share. And what I want you to notice is that when I am using my extension, I will be able to click on my recording for my full screen. I'll notice that my microphone is fully on and I can turn on my camera. And when you play along, I want you to make sure your drawing tools are on because those are super exciting. And what you'll notice is that I made a recording of a demonstration of a homework assignment. And this recording is only 1.5 minutes long because I'm just talking through what my directions are. And what I'm going to now be able to do is have this video recording live on with my homework assignment that I can choose to share out to my Google Classroom, or my favorite way to export video is with a QR code. So we're going to talk about it a little bit more in a little while, but I just want you thinking about how you can truly be so flexible with the recordings that you make. So this homework model is something that I use these drawing tools that you see on my screen. And I'm able to do a few things. I'm able to jump right in and trim the beginning and ends of my video. I'm also able to edit my video. And I like this because I don't have to pull my video into any external video editing software. I could just edit directly in Screencastify. And the most amazing part is that Screencastify will make a copy of this video for me. So everything will live in my Google Drive and on the platform, but I can now have a video and a copy that I can start differentiating my lessons for students, which means that I can record a lengthy recording and then start to pull out pieces that I need. I also do this with PD sessions where I can pull out components of a PD and then put it together. So there's a lot that you can start to do, but also hold on to that original raw video content. We won't get into all the specifics here today. You'll have access to this information after our call, but I do want you just to take notice of what you have available because it's really exciting and there's a lot of features here that can really help enhance your video. And that I also just want you to note that you can pull in additional videos from your own computer or your drive. And the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is that if you completed that superhero assignment, which is what our Screencastify submit is, Screencastify will create a Google Drive folder of all your student submissions. So I can ask my students to be co-creators with me and send me a video of them stepping through a homework question, a problem, and then I can pull that information in to my video content to use. So there's a lot of exciting ways, and you can get into those specifics when we send you some asynchronous slides to go through. But I just want to kind of wet your whistle, show you what's around. And while we're taking a little tour of your screen on your video management page, you'll notice your video is going to be called Untitled, and it'll have a date that you might have made this recording. Luckily, I've made several copies of this, which is another cool feature that's built into Screencastify. On the right-hand side, you're probably already noticing what's here, and I'm sure you want me to hurry up and get down to this enhanced section and talk about what you're noticing here. So let's talk about it. If I click on AI Assistant, you're going to have access to immediately enhance your video using AI to start to create captions, transcripts, and you might have already noticed a title and down here at the bottom, a video description that will be changed. So as it's enhancing, you'll notice this green bar, this status bar showing me, and here it is. It's a nice, beautiful title that is so much better than what I would have typed. I probably would have called this math homework. We often don't have time to sit and give a thoughtful title. And when I scroll down to give a nice context and description of my video, but AI is pulling from that audio transcript of what I'm discussing and talking about. But that's not the best thing. The best thing is that it adds captions automatically. We know that captions are necessary for some, but beneficial for all learners. So I want to click preview so you can take a look and see what this experience is like. And that's another favorite feature of Screencastify is before you even send anything out, you're able to preview and see what this looks like for your students or families. So I don't know about you, but I'm already thinking about all the many ways that I can support communication within my classroom. I can support my students' learning and growth, but also use this to bridge home and school together because those homework models can now go home with that QR code or in my learning management system. And then I'm able to support my parents while they're trying to help their kids. I have 3 kids of my own, and I would love a video help, a video tutorial of what to do when they get home from school. Right, what are you noticing when I'm on this screen? I'm sure some of you are like wishing I would click on things for you to take notice, right? So what do you see? You see transcript and a drop down. So the AI already picked up that I was speaking in English, and we have this awesome package called World Languages, where if you subscribe to that piece, you're going to be able to translate your transcript. You're going to be able to translate the closed captioning that's available, and you'll be able to have an AI voiceover. So what does this mean? I'm going to show you. Take a look at all of the languages that are represented here. And if you start thinking about all of the opportunities, again, bridging the homeschool communication bridge, helping support students who are multi-language learners and are not speaking English yet, but can make a recording in their native language. And the AI will notice what language they're speaking, and you can change it over to English to support yourself in being able to understand what your student is showing you. I'm continuing to scroll. I hope I'm not making anyone nauseous, but I just want you to see all that's represented here for our students and families and our own practice. And these languages are available in all of those 3 modalities that I just talked about, whether you're translating this transcript, whether you're translating the closed captioning, like I showed you here, or the AI voiceover, which will voice over the entire video. I do believe your video needs to be a minute long at a minimum, but think about how fantastic that is for all of our students to be able to engage in their learning. And you'll also be able to see that when I scroll down, there's that title and that description that we talked about. And for some of our students, we really need that background context to help us understand the video. So AI helped me do that. You'll also notice that I have comments open on my video. You can choose in your settings to turn that off. I can show you, but this is another opportunity for that back channel communication, for having the ability for students to comment to you directly on your video, ask questions, and start to collaborate a little bit, especially if it's homework. Homework help would be a nice place to have that open. If you don't like that and you want to change that, you have your share settings available, and you can certainly keep them private just to you or disable them altogether. We talked a little bit about sharing because I got too excited and I had to kind of jump ahead, but Screencastify does integrate with Canvas, Schoology, and Google Classroom. Depending on your level of access, you will be able to use the grading grade back system within Google Classroom, but you will be able to share within those learning management systems. And if not, you have the ability to just share a link directly. And like I said before, you can use that QR code or the Gmail option. Okay, I did hint that I was going to talk about this again. So while we're talking about sharing, I want you to think about other opportunities that you might want to have a video that you're going to send out. Maybe you have flyers that you want to add a video component to enhance or make it more accessible. We talked about the homework. So if you notice the copy QR code, you could just paste that directly on to whatever platform you're using. If you're designing worksheets in Canva, put that QR code right on top, print it out and go. I can also just download this and stick it right on a physical homework packet. A lot of teachers use this in class stations and rotations, labs. Any opportunity where you feel like you have to divide yourself into 12 places, you would be able to post those routines, any directions or explanations around your room or building. So it's very exciting and a dynamic way to start using Screencastify. I'm going to scroll a little bit down now, and I'm going to get into assess because you experienced this with that movie question. But while we're still on the topic of exporting, I just want you to take notice down here because it's kind of hidden. There's a little caret. And I want you to just play around with this at another time and see that there are other options here. Some like to pull the sound file directly out of the video and embed that just the sound in their slides. Some teachers like to have a video of them reading through fluency practice, but then have the also export the sound so students can practice reading their own text. So you have a lot of flexibility. And if you notice, here's where I'm making those cute little or cringy, depending on what you think, GIFs or GIFs. So I'm just turning on my webcam. I'm making my video of myself waving, and it opens up to this video management page, and I click export and I'm done. So visual schedules, any repetitive opportunities or movements, or if you're cringy like me and you like to have a little bit of personality in your slides, that's where you can do it. Okay, I'm looking at the chat and the Q&A. Just want to make sure we're doing okay so far. Sean, are we doing all right so far?
We are doing great, great questions, kind of flowing in consistently. Please continue to ask. They're really good. We've had questions on AI and then the share video drive link and kind of how the best way to layer on the features and functions. So keep them coming. I'm glad to hear that what Erica's sharing is kind of prompting you all to have some questions. So yeah, we're doing great so far.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to show you and have everyone start thinking about your own practice, which is why we're all here together. So it's great. Before we jump into those, the video quiz, I do want to point out a couple of other things while you're thinking about the sharing. I hopped over to the left-hand side. You'll see that you'll have the opportunity to navigate to all of your videos. You're probably already like, oh my gosh, look, there's a folder system in place. That's a new feature, which is a game changer. So I can now create folders. I can drag and drop videos into those folders. That folder system will carry over to my Google Drive. So whichever way your workflow is, you can access either through your Drive or through Screencastify. And here's the most amazing thing. You can now share folders with team members. So you can have that recording of any of your tutorials that you're sharing with co-teaching partnerships. If you're the PD person in your district or the MTSS person and you want to design your assessments that you want to share out to all of your teams, you can now do so by sharing out, deciding the level of what you want everyone to access, and then they will have a copy of that folder. The nice part with assessments is that those questions that you embed in a video will carry over, but the answers will not. So you can really start to build those systems and support one another on your grade level team or on that district level. So super exciting. I didn't want to leave that out. And once we get into the assessment piece, I start to get kind of excited and I didn't want to forget. So on the left-hand side, you will notice that you can access any videos shared. Here's our premium library. You have access to the pro membership right now, so you'll have access to all of this, I think, through the end of May. So definitely check it out and play around with it. But the premium library will allow you to embed anything from YouTube for education. So not only can you use your own videos that you've created or videos that your students have submitted, but now you can pull in a video from YouTube. You can browse these amazing options and channels or filter as needed. So another game changer, if I scroll and click, I'm able to preview, and then I'm able to add that video directly to my library. And once I'm here, you'll notice that it pulls it in, and I have some of the other abilities that we already discussed. With a few exceptions, I think, because it depends on YouTube's own limitations, but you'll notice that I'm still able to enhance with AI, and then I'm still going to be able to add that quiz that you would be able to do whether it's in premium or it's your own video. So let's get into those quizzes. I think I built it up enough and told you about how excited I am. I'm going to hop back to my math video that we've been playing around with. And I want you to see, let's see. I've opened so many tabs now because I get excited and then I start clicking everywhere. So let's get into my math homework folder. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll past enhance, and here's my add quiz. You'll notice you can also tag standards. So that's another awesome way of having a standard represented in your content, which I think is amazing. Okay, take a look. What are you already noticing? You see that you're able to preview, which again, I love. You'll notice and probably immediately this AI assistant that's here. And you would be right. You can add manually questions that you would like, or you can use the AI assistant to generate questions for you. And I think this is fantastic. It's going to pull from the same audio that it's pulling to translate and to provide those captions. So I think that it's going to be pretty incredible. You're going to notice if your video is over a minute long, it will generate those questions for you. And while we're waiting, I'll show you that you can also manually add. And here it says at 00. So wherever your cursor is going to be wherever you can embed those questions. So a lot of people will say, oh my gosh, this is exactly like Edpuzzle, right? I think the goal here is to keep you focused on enhancing, creating, and making your videos accessible for students. And students are able to respond using any text-to-speech or speech-to-text software. So I think that's a huge benefit with staying within Screencastify. And you'll notice that I can add in multiple choice or short answer questions. What I want you to know as the designer is that if it's multiple choice, Screencastify will grade that automatically for you. And if you do have Google Classroom with the gradebook integration, that will sync directly for you. And I know that the ease of grading and transferring information with your other learning management systems are also pretty seamless. So if you need more information on that, we can definitely share that with you. I'm clicking on short answer just so you can see the notation here. So you would grade that manually. You'll see students will experience a response that says your teacher will grade this for you. And if you do use the AI assistant, then Screencastify will automatically grade that with knowing that you can always edit and adjust because AI is ever growing. And I know if you use Google Forms, it's a similar feature where students can submit and then you can always tweak if need be. All right, let me scroll, take a look. It's already suggested a whole bunch of questions for me. And what I can do is choose to add them individually or scrolling slowly without making you nauseous. I can also choose to add all of them. And this video is only a minute and a half long, but you can see that there are many options, and I can choose to also edit what I need or what I want to change. And again, previewing my video, then I'm able to see that same experience. You probably now are familiar with it when you did that movie question. Here's my video. I can switch between that and my transcript. Everything remains. The ability to translate is here. I have my questions that will pop up on the side. And then I still have the same features with my closed captioning, my AI voiceover. I still have my description, my comments available. Everything is here. So what I really like about Screencastify is I don't have to keep learning where things are. It's all really set up for me to be able to just move through what I need to do. And then if I like it, I check my settings. Here's the best one that you might really want to always make sure you turn on. If you have students that were probably like me, that you just want to kind of skip ahead, answer the question, and move forward. So now you can prevent that. And once you're ready, you finish and share, and here you are back at the same page. So nothing new, nothing different. And you are ready to share that out in whichever way you do, in whichever way you want to share. And when you're ready to look at those quiz responses, there's a few different ways that you can go about it. Everyone has a different workflow, so you will be able to notice here on the bottom, if you have responses, you can jump into your edit quiz, which now will allow you to view any responses, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And you also have your dashboard here, where if I click on assessments, I can come and I can see all of my videos, all of my quizzes, and any views and responses. So let's look at our Guess the Movie, because this is what we were answering when you guys first were joining. And you'll notice right away, I can clear out, I can download a CSV because some of us prefer that for our grading. And I'm able to look at our average score and some other quick view if I needed to. I can look by viewer, so I have a few different questions and students, and I can kind of eyeball how they're doing. You'll notice I can come in and edit the scores as needed. So that's really helpful, especially when we do talk about those AI generated short answer responses. I can certainly make those adjustments. And my favorite is this view where I can now really look and eyeball, which I did quickly and say we had 100% accuracy, but all good. Chronicles of Narnia was a trick that I threw in there because it kind of does sound a little similar. But you'll notice that I can come in, and if I needed to, I can also edit my scores here. And that will save for me. And then I am done. So really exciting, really quick way to have check-ins with students, to use this as exit tickets at the end of a lesson, to engage in vocabulary lessons. There are so many opportunities to use video and use assessments to check on my students. And I really like this pie chart because I'm really able to get a quick view in the moment and I'm ready to go. All right, how are we doing so far? Questions? I think we're doing okay. So I'm going to keep showing you. Since we're discussing assessments, we have a few other features in our dashboard. So again, I just accessed on the left-hand side, and any of the options under assessments will take me to the same place. I can view everything in one spot. Live learning is launching soon. You're going to notice kind of like a Kahoot-like experience where I can launch any video live, and my students will be able to enter a code and they'll be able to have a competition. So that's exciting. I know that's coming very soon. So you'll check back and then see that this is active. So that is pretty, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm pretty excited. Here's quiz that we talked about before. And you'll notice there's multiple ways of entering into the same task. So I went in through my video and created that quiz, but I can also come in this way and pull in video that's needed. So I think you have to just decide what you're comfortable with, your workflow, whether you're starting from scratch or just while you're designing and editing. But I like that there's multiple ways to do things. And then we have submit. So this is the superhero question. What would if you could have a superpower for one day, what would it be? And what I really like is that now my students are able to engage in their learning and be co-creators. I talked about that a little bit when we were looking at the editor, but I just want you to see again that I'm able to create an assignment where my students can make a recording. And this has rapidly become the alternative to Flip when we lost access to Flip, because my school district's not a Microsoft user, we're Google. So that was really, really depressing. But I was like, hey, wait, we have Screencastify, and Screencastify is rapidly making changes and taking teacher feedback and support to really have this work well for all students. So while we're looking at how to create your assignment, you're going to see that you can enter your title. You'll see that you have options to enhance your text. This is one of my favorites. You can embed a link. So if you have a rubric, if you have an exemplar that you want to share, you can put that in here for students to be able to reference their assignment. And you can list steps. So if you want students to share or demonstrate any of their learning, a student help desk, or you want to really divide up a homework assignment and say, okay, you take number one, you take number two, students will be able to then create these videos. It's also nice to offer this just as a choice. I'm running an asynchronous book study right now, and I have a submit assignment open just as an option because some teachers prefer to demonstrate their learning with writing a reflection of each chapter, but some are opting to use the Screencastify submit link because then they're just talking through, and either way, I have my rubric attached and everyone's able to participate in the best way that they can demonstrate their learning. So what you'll notice is when I scroll down, you are able to set this assignment to whichever way you want students to show. For the asynchronous book club, I just have the webcam. That's what you experience with the superhero question. And, some students are comfortable with that, some are not, and we can work them through that. Being able to record your screen and talk about it, the opportunities are endless, and you can use that for so many different projects and walkthroughs. So you'll also notice on the bottom, you can tag those standards. You can be able to search within your library for those standards, and that is really neat. On the right-hand side are my settings. So I can generate that link that I would be able to share like I did with you in the chat. And you're also able to share this directly to your Google Classroom as an assignment. And once you click on that, you'll notice that your screen changes, and it's a similar workflow for Google Classroom. But I'm going to hop back to the link generation because I want to talk about a couple things. I want you to take notice of your link privacy. That's important to know. And I want you to notice this video privacy. If I leave this on as students cannot view the videos, I'm the only one that can view the video. We can run through fluency practice. We can have students do a check-in, a personal reflection, and we don't want other students to see this. We really want to be able to view this alone, and that's fine. I can have students view their own video that they'd be able to download and look at. And that's really great if I want to create a submit assignment to start building a portfolio for students to be able to look at their own work and reflect and grow and keep track and keep data or evidence of their growth. But this new feature, this new change in Screencastify where students can view all videos is pretty exciting. So I just want you to know that it's here. And when I have this set, students can now view each other's videos and they can leave comments. You'll be able to leave individual personalized feedback, and I'm going to show you, but this is a new way of students being able to work together and collaborate together. And I want you to know that this is live when you have it set to generating a link. If you use Google Classroom, students are not going to be able to comment within the Screencastify platform. If you keep it on the generate a link, students can go in through their own Screencastify account. They'll be able to click on submit and they will see it there for them to work with one another, collaborate, give feedback. I'm actually running this activity tomorrow with a group of students in a special class where we're using augmentative and alternative communication, and we're using different forms of being able to comment on each other's videos. So this is accessible for students of all abilities and all age levels. I want you to take a peek at first what the Sorry if I'm making you nauseous while I'm scrolling. Hang on one second. I realize I'm in my all assessments. So I want you to see what that feedback loop looks like on a sample. So when I click on a video, and you will see I kind of did this with just a couple of different accounts that I set up. So here's my tester. As the teacher, I can leave feedback on my student's video, and you'll notice it says it's only visible between the student and myself. So I can leave very direct, personalized feedback on that video, and then students are going to be able to comment to one another, and you'll see the notation here. So these are public, but that feedback directly to my student is individual. And as I'm going through and grading, I'm able to then give that a score. I'm able to click on next student. We'll give it a minute to load. Just a lot of me, but I'm able to then give that a grade. And then again, I can scroll down, and here's where I could leave feedback to my other student and different comments available. So that's a pretty exciting feature of giving our students space to learn how to collaborate. And the good thing is you're going to get a whole bunch of slides from us after this. I have embedded a ton of templates to get started with encouraging students to collaborate, how to use exit tickets. All of the things that I've talked about will be here for you, because if you're like me, you're like, okay, great, I want to get started, but what do I do first? So we want to make sure that you are set up for success. And you'll also notice that there's some built-in templates here. So give it a try, play around with it. I have our superhero question here open, and I'm able to quickly scroll down and see your submissions, and then I'm able to go through that and give you that feedback. So it's really exciting. I know there's a lot of advancements coming soon also, but there's just so much that has changed. If you're watching this and you're like, oh my gosh, I used this during COVID times and it's so different. It's a completely different product. I would kind of consider it brand new if you were using it then. If you're on this call, you're a super user, I'm sure there's things and there's changes here that you're like, oh my gosh, this is so, so amazing. Um, so I just want to reiterate again that not only can you continue using Screencastify for any of those content related, recording your lessons, but also for those everyday moments that you're finding providing information in a single modality is not working. If you are constantly repeating yourself, if you are finding that even after you've gone through and run through a demo, students are still confused and asking questions, these are perfect opportunities to turn this on and make those recordings to support your students. And I just want you to see, you don't need to worry about scanning the QR code. It's just representing the many different ways that you can use Screencastify and share information out. You're also going to get a copy of these slides too, so you'll see that we have some ideas to kind of get you started, all the different ways that I might use this as a related service provider, and that I might be able to support video with my families and my students. And you might see something on this list that it's not under your specific role, but you do this too, right? So this is just to kind of get us thinking about all the different ways you can use Screencastify. And there's more. It's just that I wanted to save some space here, but this is just to get us started. So you'll see that there's been a lot of changes. And while I'm scrolling through, I'm keeping my eye on the chat and the Q&A, but looks like Sean's doing great. So I want to leave us with this thought from Katie Novak, who's a UDL expert. I'm sure some of you know about her, but we can have those firm goals, but provide those flexible means for our students to participate. So providing that choice is crucial and is a really fantastic way for our students to be able to engage in their learning. You're going to get all these goodies. I have in the slides that you're going to get how to create stop motion videos with GIFs. There's just so much that you can do that we don't have time for in this type of setting. We can be on a call for about 3 hours, and I would love to show you all the different things you can do. But our goal today was to really show you what you have access to and all the different ways that you can use this and promote it within your districts within all your other colleagues and teachers. So you will get a walkthrough pre-K through 12th grade with different standards and other ideas of how you can use this today, tomorrow, within your content. And, really want you to kind of get started and play with it. So I'm hoping that before we wrap up, we have some time to address any questions and thoughts, and for you to just kind of take a moment to think before we explored this today, what you thought Screencastify was. And now that we have that broader view, what do you believe Screencastify is, and what that turning point in your thinking was? Because I think that's the most amazing piece, if we can just take a moment to reflect. I know I went through a lot to show you, and you'll have access to those how-to, because now maybe you're excited and you want to dig in a little bit. But I am sure some of your thinking has changed while I was walking through it. So I would love if we can hear from you, or if we have that ability open. I think we do.
Yeah, so if they can send in Q&As, which we can definitely share aloud with the group.
Great.
We've gotten a couple like thank you and how much help and benefit this has been, and we want to reciprocate that to all of you. But feel free to drop a comment or question in the Q&A, and then Erica and or I will definitely respond and share aloud. But we would love to hear your feedback, as Erica mentioned.
Yeah, I can talk about this all day, but I want to make sure that we leave some time for you to share that as well.
And I'll
So,
make sure I let you know, Erica, as
yeah,
those.
please.
Yeah.
So what was one thing, and we can even think about one thing that you might want to take back to your district, or one thing that is most exciting that you didn't realize?
I can share a couple of the highlights that I was answering one-on-one as we went too. We had a couple questions regarding integrations, specifically around Canvas and Schoology, about ways in which, Erica, to your question, in terms of like takeaways and kind of thinking about what they can do next, is it sounds like that some folks are really considering how they can embed Screencastify within their learning management systems. And so from the district perspective, we would work with the district level folks to embed the LTI of Screencastify into Canvas or Schoology, and then you would be able to send those videos seamlessly back and forth. But the good news is that even without a formal LTI setup, is that you can just use the copy share link and drop that directly into anything Canvas or Schoology related, and it's going to take you right to the video that you had. So that's one thing. We had another question about, can I just share the Google Drive file link? And the answer is technically yes. But again, I'm assuming that these folks are thinking about it with a very specific way in which they can engage with their students, which is super cool. But just as a cautionary kind of tale, if we do share just the Google Drive link, it will only play the video file out of your Google Drive. Erica had mentioned sharing the share link in the top right-hand corner of that blue box or blue button. And we ask you to do that so that you can benefit from all of the nice features and functions of Screencastify. As Erica, I think, is navigating to right now, when we click on that top right button, then you'll be able to utilize all the stuff that Erica showed you, the QR code, the AI, all of the questions and analytics and quizzes. But when we share directly from the Google Drive file link, all of those things will not accompany the video link. So we do definitely encourage the share video button on the top. We had a couple folks mention that they did not know that they could comment from students, both to their videos and student videos. So yes, Cindy, that's so good to hear. Great takeaway. We have a lot of folks engaging with student to student comments along with teacher to student and vice versa. Jamie says, love the quiz feature. They've been pushing submit to replace flip, but definitely going to start focusing on quiz, which is super cool. Also excited to see live learning. The translating option would be great for helping ESL students. That is something, Krista, that we've heard a lot about. Completely agree, and that's so good to hear. But so many good takeaways, Erica.
Good, good. I'm glad. And I want to make sure that, we had the time to address those questions and demo and show everybody. And just to be clear, because you know how much I love the QR code piece, when you do embed those questions and that quiz, those questions carry over whether you share it out via a QR code or link in whichever way. So I just want to make sure that that's clear too, because when you could start thinking about collecting analytics in a variety of ways. So for those of you that are now like, oh, I'm going to dig into quiz a little bit more, you have options, which is always very exciting. So I really appreciate your engagement. I appreciate everyone answering and responding in the Q&A, because that's super helpful for us to know what you like, what you're excited about, and what you might take back to your district. And what I want to make sure you have, we'll send you my feedback link. I would love your feedback. I really look at it and take it super seriously, because I like to enhance my practice and make sure that you're getting what you need, and your time is truly valued. So I appreciate it. So we'll make sure that you get that. And this is what I really want you to have. So any of those moments that you now are like, okay, I have access to all these amazing things and I'm going to play with it. What did she say? Please email me. I love those emails. I had a few recently where I was working with somebody and giving her some really one-on-one advice, because she said, this is great and I love it, but how do I do this in my role? Because it's a different kind of role. And I'm like, all right, let's get into it. So please email me anything that we've talked about, any ideas that you're looking for, and any product and technical questions. You have the support at Screencastify. You can also access that directly on your platform. They're so responsive. They get back to you immediately. And they use Screencastify Submit also to be able to problem solve with you. But such a fabulous group of people that are always willing to help and support. So definitely reach out, please. And Sean, you're right. He put in the chat, if you are loving it and you're loving everything about it, please drop a Google review in the Chrome Web Store. Definitely looking for that as well, because we love your love for Screencastify, and we love it too. So something that we're all really proud of. So yeah, we will hang in here for a couple more minutes for any questions, but please make sure you grab my email and stay in touch. I would love to hear about what you're doing.
Thank you, Erica. And as Erica mentioned, thank you everyone for attending. It is not lost on us what an hour at the end of a school day means on a Tuesday. Erica knows even more recently than I do. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, looks like everyone's all set. So I think we are good. We'll send everything out in the mail, in the mail. Oh my God. How old am I? In the email, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.